Hello everyone, welcome back. So I kind of have on a different kind of outfit cosplay today. One of the things that I've been doing in quarantine is I've joined a lot of Disney meme posting groups. And one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, I mean, I love the classics, of course. I love Little Mermaid, I love Beauty and the Beast, I love The Lion King, but one of my very, very favorites is Atlantis, The Lost Empire. And there is a meme posting group, and it's called Atlantis, The Lost Empire Posting. And the really cool thing about this group is they've gotten writers and animators from the movie, and one of them, his name is Tab. He's actually the screenwriter, which, my gosh, so cool. And he'll like send out autographed posters. He's just a really, really nice guy, and they all interact with all the fans, and it's so neat. And so the other day when I was at Target, I got this green tank top. I saw it, and it was $7, and I thought, okay, I could use it for the summertime, and I just bought it. And then as I'm scrolling through the meme posting group, I'm thinking, hey, I could totally cosplay as a female Milo Thatch from Atlantis with this green tank top and with my big nerd glasses. And I stole this coat from my dad, actually. It's like, hey, you're not using it right now. I'm gonna steal it and have it be my adventure coat. It might look stupid. Oh well. And I braided my hair. I actually just went swimming, so it's still kind of wet, but so it might look stupid, but oh well. And I don't have a crystal, like a blue crystal from Atlantis, but I do have this little amethyst on a string. So this is my Atlantis crystal. And yeah, so I thought, oh, I'd have fun with it. And I love Atlantis. Honestly, if I was gonna marry a Disney prince, it would totally be Milo Thatch. He's a scholar. He is super intelligent. He's an adventurer. And he and Kita are just the best couple. Kita is awesome. She is a warrior queen. She protects her people. She fights off these armed mercenaries in a bikini. I mean, who would not want to be that badass? Yeah, Atlantis is highly, highly underrated. And I love their love story too. It's out of mutual respect. They help each other. They learn from each other. And Kita is also like 8,000 years old. Milo's only in his 30s. So, I mean, obviously the age difference doesn't matter. She's a queen. He's a scholar. Oh, I just love Atlantis. So I thought, okay, I can't cosplay as Kita. I'm not cool enough for that. But I can cosplay a female Milo Thatch. So that's who I am today. Oh yeah, sorry. There are a couple of things I wanted to talk about before I got to reading Trashy romance novel. The second thing I wanted to talk about was, look what came out today! The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the new Hunger Games book, y'all. It's the prequel. Okay, so I'll admit, when I heard there was going to be a prequel, I was stoked. I don't know if I've told you all this, but the Hunger Games got me through graduate school. I was really thinking, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to graduate. I just can't do it. It's too much. But actually, today is my 8-year anniversary of getting my master's degree, which makes me feel so old. But yeah, it's been 8 years today that I graduated. And it's all thanks to the Hunger Games trilogy. I can't believe it's been that long since I read them. It feels like just yesterday because I still love them so much. So when I heard there was going to be a prequel, I'm thinking, oh, well, I've got to buy it and I've got to read it. And I honestly was hoping for a prequel maybe featuring Mags, Phoenix, mentor from District 4, or maybe Haymitch. I love Haymitch as a character. I loved Woody Harrelson's portrayal. I know he doesn't look like he did in the book, but I thought he was just perfect. I loved him, and I love him as Joe Biden too. He cracks me up. But I lost my train of thought there. Sorry, I was thinking about Woody Harrelson. He's also in Frasier, which, Frasier is my favorite show of all time. So I was thinking it could be about Max, it could be about Haymitch, and then they announced it's about President Snow. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great, but he's not my number one character that I've been wondering about. But I have heard nothing but good things so far about this. One of the taglines was, "Who is the girl from District 12?" or what's the deal with the girl from not what's the deal, but who's the girl from District 12? I'm thinking, oh, okay, so there might be more to President Snow's story than we know. And so, I mean, even if she could have written this about the kid who lasted 4 minutes in the Hunger Games, and I still would have read it. So naturally, I put my mask on, went out to Target, bought it, and I am looking forward to reading it. Now, Suzanne Collins, if you happen to be listening, I doubt you are. That's okay. You have a lot of other important things to be doing. But if you do happen to be taking requests, I would love a story about Finnick and Annie. Their love story, all we got was like a brief wedding, and the line that Finnick said was, or when Katniss asked, "Did you love Annie from the beginning?" and he said, "No, she snuck up on me." Oh my gosh, I have always loved that line, and I've always wanted to know what, first of all, because he would have been her mentor when she was in the Hunger Games and when she survived. And I would have loved, first of all, to have seen that from both of their perspectives, because she survived because she outswam everybody. She was the only one who could swim. She's the only one that didn't drown. So that's how she lived, and then she lost her mind. Oh, and of course with Finnick, I hope y'all have all read the Hunger Games. You better know all these spoilers. And with Finnick, after he won, I would love to, because he was only 14, I would have loved to have read, first of all, a 14-year-old kid surviving the Hunger Games. And then when he gets old enough, because he's so beautiful and desirable, they make him like a slave. They make, President Snow sells him to these creepy Capitol people. And, I mean, that's got to be so traumatic for a young character. So I would have, this is going to sound messed up, but I would have loved to have read this book about Finnick's experience. First of all, winning the Hunger Games so young, then what it was like, how he was treated as a victor at the Capitol, and then when he was a mentor to Annie and seeing this young girl go through all that trauma and seeing her come out of it having lost her mind and then falling in love with her. Oh my gosh. And all we got out of the books was she snuck up on me, or crept up on me, maybe it was one of that, but and you could do the victory tour. You could have them back home in District 4. He's the only one she can turn to, or he's the only one that understands, and they could be by the beach, and he could realize, oh, I'm in love with her, and come on, Suzanne Collins, I need this. Please. All the fangirls out there need this. But in the meantime, I will very much enjoy reading about a young President Snow, finding out who the girl from District 12 is, seeing what kind of connections can be made. I heard Tigress is in this too, so I'll be interested to see what part she plays. I thought she was a lot younger, but that could just be the actress in the movie, who knows. But yeah, so excited. Look for my review on Goodreads in the days to come. I am sure I will have finished with this book in the next 2 or 3 days. Alright, so since I haven't done a reading in a while, I thought I would go back to Trashy romance novel, because I do have fun with the readings. I miss meeting readers. I miss getting to connect with them about books that we love. I miss answering questions about reading and writing, and about why I write the stories that I do. Trashy romance novel, like I said, it was a love letter to Scotland, and I also wrote it because I had a big fat crush on Colin Farrell. It was funny. And this is the other thing I was going to tell y'all about. My sister and I have been watching, ever since we've been watching Defending Jacob, I've been like, oh, we should watch more Chris Evans movies. He's just very fun to look at. So we watched a couple of Marvel films yesterday. We watched The Avengers, the first Avengers, which we had both seen, and then we watched Winter Soldier, which we had not seen, which is kind of funny, because I met Sebastian Stan but I've never actually seen any of his movies. I'm sorry, Sebastian, you're beautiful too. You're so pretty. That's not what matters, though. I'm sorry, I do not mean to objectify these actors. That is not what matters, but they are very fun to look at. Sorry. So we're watching the Avengers, and we were talking about how, you know, when we talk about women being objectified in movies, people often come back with the whole, oh, well, these guys in their superhero suits, they're often objectified too. And we were both thinking, yeah, you know, but that's not really the female fantasy, I don't think. And then I thought back to this Tumblr post about George of the Jungle starring Brendan Fraser and how he was like the perfect female fantasy. And I was like, yes. We like guys who are sweet and sensitive and who love animals and who will talk to us like we're ordinary human beings. And yeah, George is wonderful. But then I got to thinking about how, okay, so what's my personal female fantasy? And then I found myself thinking about Trashy romance novel, because I basically just wrote this for fun and because I had a crush on Colin Farrell. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have this scene where I'm not sure we'll get to it in these readings, but where Colin is kissing Delaney in the trailer, and he flat out says that she's his boss, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that's my fantasy. Having a guy tell me that I'm in control and that I have the power. So yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, that I was like, yep, okay, well, possibly why I'm still single. It's fine. I'm fine with it. I have shirtless Brendan Fraser and George of the Jungle, and I have my characters. It's cool. It's fine. Anyway, so I thought we'd go back to Trashy romance novel today. We're on chapter 5. If you need a refresher, Delaney and Gemma are in Scotland. They have just met the cast of The Queen's Surrogate, which is the book that Delaney wrote, and they're staying in a hostel, and Gemma's not happy about that. And we're picking up, it's the morning they're going to start filming. Okay, so chapter 5. I feel like I've only just fallen into bed when my alarm goes off the next morning. I'm in the process of fumbling around for the snooze button when Gemma leaps down from the top bunk. Morning, Glory, she greets me with a bright, sunny smile. Ugh, I forgot you were a morning person, I mumble. Come on, Delaney bird, up and at 'em, first day of filming. As much as I am not a fan of loud, chipper blondes before I've downed at least 2 cups of coffee, I'm grateful that Gemma seems to have forgiven me for the misunderstanding about the 4-star hotel that she's not staying in. Okay, so how are you going to dress? She continues as though I'm actually responsive. I'm thinking that since we'll probably be outside most of the day, we should go comfy. And it's kind of chilly here, so we'll definitely need a jacket or something. But then we don't want to look too casual because, let's be honest, I'm trying to get into Benjamin's pants and you're trying to get into Matthew's pants. I roll my eyes and attempt to laugh off her girlish eagerness. But of course, I fell asleep last night trying to figure out exactly how to style my hair so that it says, I am a professional, but I'm also totally single and open to romantic advances. While Gemma steps out to shower, I finally drag myself out of bed and change into my most flattering pair of jeans. You know, that one pair that fits just right, that's worn but not faded, that hugs your hips just enough to flaunt your figure but not tight enough to make you or anyone around you uncomfortable. A form-fitting white shirt and a charcoal-colored cardigan. I complete my ensemble with a pair of comfortable black riding boots and silver jewelry. Finally, I pull my dark brown hair back into a tight, preppy ponytail and apply just a touch of smoky eyeshadow around my eyes, making them appear more gray than blue. It's so cloudy here, I imagine that will be happening a lot. Oh, and if you're wondering who I imagined for Delaney, I've already told you that Colin is Colin Farrell because I'm that creative when it comes to names. That I would love Emilia Clarke. She is my biggest girl crush. I love her so much. She's so darling. I mean, I guess she was fine in Game of Thrones. I watched like a couple seasons. She's okay. But no, the movie that I love her in is Me Before You. Incidentally, starring Sam Claflin, aka Finnick, aka the inspiration behind a couple of my boy band guys. But yeah, and I loved her character in that. She was so cute and adorable, and I'm like, oh my god, she's my new muse for my female characters. I also, not to stir up any drama, but I think she should have played Belle in the live action Beauty and the Beast. I think she would have been much better. Sorry. I mean, you know, the cast was fine. I don't want to say any names, but I think Belle could have been better cast. Anyway, mere minutes before Andrew and Louise are scheduled to arrive, Gemma returns looking like a total bombshell. She's wearing black pants, a tight knee-length black sweater, and a gossamer white scarf. She also somehow found time to curl and blow-dry her long blonde hair, and she's wearing large designer sunglasses, even though the sun is nowhere to be found. Wow, I comment. What do you think? Too much? She asks. I think you look more like a movie star than any of the actual actors in this project, I answer honestly. Perfect, she smiles. You know, no one is going to believe you're actually my assistant, I tell her. Nonsense, this is how all the personal assistants are dressing these days, she teases. Of course it is, I comment as my phone buzzes. Come on, Andrew and Louise are here. Once we're in the car and both Andrew and Louise have complimented Gemma on her fabulous outfit, Andrew asks, so how was your first night in the hostel? I'm afraid that Gemma is going to make some sort of snide remark about the drafty bathrooms or the bunk beds, but instead she smiles and answers, oh, I slept like a rock. Same, I agree. I also tried haggis. How'd you like it? Louise asks. It was actually pretty good. Gross, Gemma groans. You're in Scotland. You have to try haggis at least once, I argue. The hell I do. Oh, come on, haggis is great, Andrew grins. Heart, liver, lungs, blah, Gemma shudders. Oh, fun fact, I actually did try haggis when I was in Scotland. I am the world's pickiest eater. I am one of those cilantro people that thinks cilantro tastes like soap, because it does. But when I was in Scotland, I tried haggis because I had to have the experience. It actually really wasn't bad. I'd eat it again next time I'm there. I wouldn't eat American haggis, though, if I'm not in Scotland. So are we going to the castle? I ask. Not today, Louise answers. Today we'll be at the studio. They're filming parts of the tournament scene, which will involve a bit of green screen. But the set itself is still pretty incredible. Listening to Louise describe what the day has in store, I realize that I know next to nothing about what actually goes into filming a television series. I mean, sure, I've watched a few behind-the-scenes featurettes, production diaries, and cast interviews for my favorite movies and TV shows. But somehow I don't think a 15-minute-long documentary on the flip side of a Blu-ray disc is really enough to prepare me for what I'm about to experience. At 6:55 a.m., we pull into our designated parking spot and make our way into an already bustling studio. I'm a little overwhelmed by everything that's going on around me. Everywhere I turn, I see lights, cameras, workers with headsets and clipboards. It's a dizzying spiral of color and movement, and I'm struggling to not lose myself in the whirlwind. It's not until I catch sight of the buffet table, packed with fruit, beans, eggs, bacon, biscuits, and the most beautiful coffee maker that I've ever seen, that I find my footing again. Oh, another side note. Scottish breakfast is amazing. I loved it. Once when we were on like a ferry, I think we were going to from Oban to the Isle of Mull, and I had the breakfast on the boat, and it was so good. Without hesitation, I grab a plate and help myself to a feast that actually might be fit for a king. Speaking of kings, I wonder if Matthew is here yet. As though summoned by my thoughts, an actor does come strolling up to greet us. But it isn't Matthew. Don't you two look stunning, Benjamin Wyndham grins at Gemma and me. And remember, Benjamin Wyndham is kind of like the cute playboy. I kind of imagined him as a cross between Sam Claflin, again, and Eddie Redmayne, you know. Just cute, red-haired, and British. Actually, I don't think Sam Claflin is red-haired in real life. I think that was just for Fennec, but... Thank you, Gemma returns his smile. You don't look half bad yourself. This is not even remotely true. Benjamin literally looks like he just rolled out of bed. He's wearing plaid pajama pants and an old hoodie with some sports team logo that I don't recognize. Well, you know, he shrugs. Then he turns his attention to me. You ready for this, love? Maybe, I answer honestly. Don't worry, it's going to be incredible. Just enjoy the process. And the free food. As Benjamin winks, Colin Ward appears behind him, looking a lot rougher around the edges than he did yesterday. His dark hair is still dripping wet from his morning shower, and he's dressed in black athletic pants with a white tank top. He also doesn't appear to have shaved, but maybe the hair and makeup department called for a bit of stubble. Morning, he mutters gruffly, filling his fancy steel thermos up with coffee. I guess he's not an early bird either. Aren't you cold? I blurt out before I can stop myself. He looks up and stares at me like I'm a total idiot. I can't say I blame him. That's probably not what most girls say to him when he shows up with bare biceps, which are actually really nice, by the way. Hey, Colin, did you get to meet the girls yesterday? Benjamin asks in a chivalrous attempt to diffuse the awkward in the air. No, he replies, holding out a large hand for me to shake. It's a pleasure. Yeah, same. His fingers are actually quite warm. Maybe he's not that cold after all. Oh my god, I love all of your movies, Gemma gushes once it's her turn. When I was in high school, I actually had a poster of you hanging up in my bedroom. It was one of the ones from Teen Beat magazine. You know, the fold-outs? I can tell by the look on Colin's face that he has no idea what she's actually talking about. And honestly, why would he? By the time Gemma and I were reading Teen Beat magazine, he was well into his 20s. But you know, for someone who seems not at all thrilled to be awake or in the presence of cheerful people so early in the morning, Colin is actually very polite. That's sweet of you, thank you, he says. As other members of the cast and crew begin to file over to the breakfast table, I keep a sharp eye out for Matthew. Suddenly, I feel like I'm back in high school, waiting for my crush to come strolling through the door, and worried, for some unexplainable reason, that he won't show up. I'm trying so hard not to be that girl, the one who becomes so focused on the next time she's going to see the guy that she likes or what she's going to say to him that she completely loses sight of her purpose. I like to think that I'm a fairly well-rounded individual. I'm sorry, I'm going really fast today for some reason. I'm tripping over and I'm blowing past words that are in the book. I like to think that I'm a fairly well-rounded individual. I have my own interests, my own hobbies. Granted, most of those interests and hobbies revolve around collecting books and reading books and writing books, but there are far worse things than fiction out there. Obsession, for example. And that's what I'm feeling now. I am completely obsessing over Matthew Kent and his gorgeous golden locks and sky blue eyes. And the fact that he just walked in. And he's the only guy in the main cast who bothered to put on nice jeans and a button-down shirt. Breathe, breathe. Don't act like you're waiting for him to come over and talk to you. Do something else. Talk to Gemma. Of course, Gemma is still talking to Benjamin and Colin. Well, mostly just Benjamin. Colin doesn't seem to be paying all that much attention. I think he was just looking for somewhere to stand until he needs to be in hair and makeup. Then we get to our room and bunk beds, Gemma is telling him. Bunk beds? Benjamin laughs. I am not even kidding you. How are you supposed to sleep in bunk beds? That's what I want to know. Talking about our glamorous accommodations, I ask. Oh, and get this. She ate haggis, Gemma points to me, like she's sharing some scandalous secret. Good, isn't it? Benjamin asks. Ugh, not you too, Gemma exclaims. Maybe you can get her to try some, Benjamin, I say. Challenge accepted, he flashes Gemma his cheekiest of grins. What's challenging? A new voice joins the conversation, sending my heart into a regular tizzy. I glance over my shoulder to see Matthew Kent holding a plate heaped with eggs, bacon, and sausage. Genevieve Brown is with him. These two think they're going to talk me into trying haggis, Gemma explains. It's part of the experience, I argue once again. So are bagpipes, but I bet you're not going to go out and buy a set, Gemma counters. No, but I could buy a CD. I hear the Red Hot Chili Peppers are pretty good. They're a real band, by the way, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. My god, you are such a nerd, Gemma sighs. Benjamin and Matthew laugh. At least she's a cute nerd, Benjamin says. I blush. Aw, thank you. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Great Britain's greater playboy is quickly turning out to be one of the sweetest guys I've ever met. Of course, it could be that he knows just what to say, and being an actor, he probably does. Still, being around Benjamin Wyndham is doing wonders for my self-esteem. So what do you think of all this? Matthew asks me. Don't fawn. Remember, you're his equal, and Benjamin Wyndham thinks you're cute. It's unreal. In fact, unreal doesn't even do it justice. Is this your first time on a set? Genevieve asks. Yeah, I mean, I did a few television interviews back home, but it was nothing like this. Wait until you see the castle. It will take your breath away, Matthew says. I'm tempted to comment that I'm already breathless, and it has nothing to do with my surroundings. But thankfully, Elizabeth Cook calls for everybody's attention before I can make a dribbling, fangirling fool out of myself. Well, everyone, she announces, we made it. The entire room burst into thunderous applause, cheers, and catcalls. This is going to be an amazing series, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you. Actors, my amazing crew, writers, she nods in my direction, and I can't help but smile. I also can't help but notice Matthew glancing down at me out of the corner of my eye. Out of the corner of my... I don't know if this is supposed to be out of the corner of my eye or the corner of his eye, because she's noticing out of the corner of her eye, but he could be glancing down at her out of the corner of his eye. Editing. What's she gonna do? Oh well. I guess my eye works. I hope I'm not blushing too hard. Elizabeth continues. It's only the first day of filming, and already I can honestly say that this team is one of the best I've ever worked with. Everyone in this room is so immensely talented, passionate, and above all, dedicated to making this project a steaming success. I can't thank you all enough for being here and for being a part of something of which I think we will all be very, very proud. That's typical of the director to make a welcome speech, Matthew murmurs in my ear. Next, the AD will stand up and remind everyone to be on their best behavior, to be on time, to keep the set tidy, etc. The AD? I ask. Assistant director. And sure enough, a man I've yet to meet, but whom I know to be David Mosley, steps forward and says exactly that. I look up at Matthew. So I take it you've done this before. I hope you can tell that I'm flirting. I'm not very good at it. Once or twice, he winks. Or maybe I'm better than I thought. It doesn't take me very long to learn that there is very little downtime on set once things get rolling, and especially once the actors have all been to hair and makeup. Let me tell you, they all look incredible. Rose as Corinne is dressed in a simple but beautiful tan-colored gown, a leather corset, and leather arm cuffs to match. Her golden hair is tied back in an elegant braid, and her fresh, lovely face bears little makeup. She looks just as I imagine Corinne might, preparing for the grand tournament that will change her life. Genevieve looks stunning in Queen Annette's spectacular red gown and pearl beaded headdress. She probably won't have very much to do today, since Annette and Malcolm are mainly spectators throughout the 3 tournament chapters of the book. Speaking of Malcolm, oh my god, Matthew looks so unbelievably handsome as His Majesty King Malcolm Frederick William Saxe of Eden. I'm not even going to say he looks hot, because that word is so cheap and overused and shallow. It's easy for guys to pull off hot. Very few men, nowadays anyway, can be described as genuinely handsome. But wow, is he one of them. The costume department has given Matthew a very regal, yet still very masculine look, which probably isn't at all historically accurate. That was one of the things when I was thinking of writing a historic trashy romance novel. I was thinking, I don't think I could make it accurate. I don't think I'm that smart, y'all. I mean, you have to think about, the costuming alone is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Detailed. And yeah, I feel like you have to be a bona fide historian to write a really, really good old romance book. The costume department has given Matthew a very regal yet still very masculine look, which probably isn't at all historically accurate. His burgundy tunic is trimmed with faux fur and gold, and the golden crown that he wears fits more like a wraparound headband. With his wavy golden locks and those bright blue eyes, he looks exactly like he just stepped out of a fantasy tale. Or at least my fantasy. Standing a few steps behind Matthew are Colin and Benjamin. I can't hear what Benjamin is saying, but whatever it is has Colin chuckling under his breath. Seeing the two of them together, I suddenly remember that this isn't the first time they've worked together. Colin played the creature to Benjamin's Victor Frankenstein in the modern-day adaptation. He looked so monstrous, so deformed, he was virtually unrecognizable as Hollywood's hottest reformed rebel. I guess that's why it took me so long to make the connection. I definitely recognize him now. Our costume and makeup department have made no effort to make Wrigsley any less attractive than the actor portraying him. In fact, I'm almost tempted to say that he looks even better in his charcoal gray tunic with his hair styled back off his face. Then again, this is... Oh, and by the way, when I was, describing Colin as Wrigsley, I was totally thinking of him as Graves in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, because that's when I realized, watching that movie, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, Colin Farrell's beautiful. He's so pretty. Can you tell that it's been a while since I've touched a man at all, like, just even, like, held a guy's hand. It's, this is what my sister and I have been talking about. We're like, oh, Chris Evans, oh, Colin Farrell, oh, in her case, Timothy Chalamet, oh. So, yeah, we're pretty thirsty over here. But yeah, so it was in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, where I thought, oh, Colin Farrell's hot. And then, Eddie Redmayne's in there too. So if you want to read this book and you read Benjamin and Colin, it's totally Eddie Redmayne and Colin Farrell from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Then again, this is also the first time that I've seen Colin smile in person. That smile brightens every one of his striking features, transforming him into someone entirely new. I guess his 18 ounces of coffee finally kicked in. Then there's Benjamin. He looks so adorable as Tristan, I can barely stand it. He's wearing a floppy brown cap atop his messy ginger locks that gives him that sweet, scholarly look. Of course, the cheeky, flirtatious British boy toy is still there in his sparkling hazel eyes. The scene they're filming today was actually one of my favorites to write, and I guarantee you it's going to look so much cooler on screen than it did as words on a page. The whole point of the tournament is to select the maiden who is most likely to provide the king with a healthy, intelligent, and of course, male heir. Ergo, she herself needs to be strong, quick-witted, and skilled. In the book, beauty and age also play a factor, but Cody, Sarah, and I decided to cut that since Corinne's abilities are far more important than her looks. And there's only so much we can cram into an 80-minute pilot. What I love about this scene is how it will go on to show Corinne's relationship with her 3 older brothers and how they helped her to become resourceful and intelligent and strong. From Barton, she learned her skills, from Farley, her wit, and from Hugo, her strength and endurance. This will all be shown in a series of flashbacks as Corinne learns of each task and prepares for them. I can't wait to see the final cut. The set itself, I hate to say it, is a little underwhelming. I'd been anticipating taking my first steps back in time to the country of Eden for months now, ever since I signed the contract. But so far, my imaginary kingdom looks a lot like a Renaissance fair set against a green screen backdrop. It will look a lot better in post-production, Matthew assures me with a knowing smile. Oh great, do I really look that unimpressed? Is it difficult, I ask him, acting in a place that's not really, there? No more difficult than crafting an entire world from nothing, he replies. It takes me a moment to realize he's referring to my books. Not quite nothing. I had inspiration, I confess with what I hope is a sultry glance. But before he can respond, he and the rest of the cast are called to set and he walks off once again without any sort of parting sentiments. Benjamin, however, pats me on the shoulder as he passes. Here's to you, love, he grins. No, I tell him. Here's to all of you. I really like that ending, but I have a tiny excerpt from the Queen's Surrogate, and I can keep going with that. And then chapter 6. I'm not going to read chapter 6 today because this video is already 30 minutes long and my throat is kind of dry. I need some water. But I'll read this quick excerpt from the Queen's Surrogate. I don't know what to think. I fought my hardest in the tournament, all for the promise of a better life with my family, or for my family. I withstood judgment and physical exertion, puzzles and excruciating riddles, truly believing that if I could just see these games through to the end, my parents, my brothers, and I would never want for anything. I expected honor, glory, and wealth. I hadn't been expecting this. Your task is a simple one, the dark man named Wrigsley has just informed me. You are to bed the king and bear him a son. Once you are with child, you will not be permitted to leave the castle grounds. You may write to your family, but no one is to know of your condition. For although you may carry the young prince in your womb, he will not be yours. He will be the son of their majesties King Malcolm and Queen Annette. Wrigsley goes on to promise compensation for my services to the crown, wealth, education, a match with an eligible and wealthy man of his majesty's court, a title. This was all contingent, however, on whether or not I could provide the kingdom with a male heir. Do you accept these conditions? Wrigsley asks. For what may very well be the first time in my life, I find myself unable to speak. I have, of course, dreamed of the act of love, of warm embraces, gentle kisses, passionate whispers exchanged in the dark of night. But in those dreams, the man with whom I shared this love was my husband, a man with whom I had exchanged vows. I have never imagined lying with a man whom I had not wed. It simply was not done. Yet I am being instructed to do just that, to bed a man to whom I am not married. And not just any man, the king himself. A man chosen by God to be my lord, my sovereign, and now my lover. How am I to stand in his presence? How am I to meet his eye? How am I to refuse? Yes, I finally answer. I accept your conditions. Wrigsley smiles, a twisted, curling grin that chills me straight to the bone. Then let it be so. Welcome to His Majesty's service, Mistress Fletcher. See, one of the fun things about writing the trashy romance novel excerpts is that it didn't necessarily have to be good. It just had to be kind of trashy and kind of cheesy, but I had a lot of fun writing them. I hope y'all are having a great, wonderful day. If you have Disney Plus, go watch Atlantis, The Lost Empire. If you get a chance, check out the new Hunger Games book, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And if you'd like, you can read Trashy Romance Novel on Kindle Unlimited. It's available to download on Kindle, and you can also buy the paperback. Hope y'all have a good rest of your evening. Bye!